All right. I understand we have a VIP on the phone.
We sure do. We now have Joe Tacopina, Donald Trump's attorney, one of his attorneys. And of course, you've seen him front row and center. Joe, great to have you here on Katz and Cosby.
Thanks for having me. Boy, every time I call into you guys, I get so nervous based on all the people you have in studio. You guys are like the all-star panel of radio hosts. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Listen, Joe, we're just having fun. That's what we're doing.
I know. You guys are
Tell
really
the
the best.
truth.
I love being on with you guys so
and
much.
fighting the good fight, Joe, because, you're fighting a big fight now.
Yep.
Walk us through where you see this headed with Donald Trump. Of course, anybody else would be like knocked down, folded like a cheap suit. Donald Trump is like, okay, next. Colin Andrew was with, there at Bedminster.
After. Yeah.
Not only is it okay next, it's like, this is going to become the new playbook for campaign strategy. Get indicted, your poll numbers go up, you raise millions of dollars upon indictment. It's unbelievable. So it's not okay next. It's okay now I'm stronger. Now I have more votes in the polls. I mean, it's really unbelievable because, and look, there's no mystery as to why, right? It's simply because there's an obvious weaponization of the justice system in full effect now. And I cannot believe they thought, and they mean the Biden Justice Department, thought this was a really good idea to go and indict Donald Trump on classified documents case. I mean, really, first of all, it is, to me, unconscionable. It's unconscionable that a president would use his Justice Department to indict a leading political candidate opposing him. Joe Biden had classified documents for decades. There was no FBI investigation warrant. I mean, decades. Hillary Clinton destroyed her classified documents, 33,000 emails gone, bleached servers, and Jim Comey, when he gave that press conference, if you remember, and this is really important when you juxtapose everyone against Donald Trump. When Comey gave that press conference about Hillary Clinton's emails, classified documents on her personal email server, he said there's enough here. There were classified documents, there were secret documents, there were confidential documents, and there's evidence that they went overseas by email because it was the personal email server. That while there's enough here to show a violation of the law, no prosecutor in their right mind would bring this case. And he wasn't saying because they couldn't prove it. He was saying because of the collateral effect this would have on the country. Okay? That's what he was saying when he said no right prosecutor in their mind would bring this case, because they had the evidence.
So, Joe, what do you make of the fact that here is Merrick Garland, by the way, yesterday was like, I stand by Jack Smith, the special counsel. He's completely independent. It is a bunch of hogwash. Your thoughts?
Of course. If Merrick Garland said that, who's Joe Biden's attorney general, I think then obviously it certainly must be true. It's such a joke. It is such a joke that we're even having this conversation, that they actually charged him with this. Again, this is where the American public, whether you hate Donald Trump, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, you have to look at this from afar, because the people out there who I've spoken to, some of who are hardcore Democrats, are saying, my God, is this what it's become now? Is this the new norm? We're now going to start using the justice system of that particular president, the Justice Department of that particular president, as like a Gestapo to go after political opponents, because that's a scary thing, because the pendulum swings both ways. And, Donald Trump is furious right now. And he said, rightly or wrongly, he said, the next time when I'm president, I'm going to indict, the Biden crime family. That's what he said. So is this going to be where we are now, where the Republicans in office, he's going to use his Justice Department to go after Democratic opponents? When Democrats in office, they'll use their Justice Department to go after Republican political opponents. This is not what this is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And we're in a scary place in this country.
We sure are. I agree. I think so many people think it's just un-American. We're talking to Trump's attorney, Joe Tacopina, here on Katz and Cosby. Judge Weinberg?
Well, I have to tell you, Donald Trump became president of the United States, and he controlled who the director of the FBI was and who the attorney general was. And he did not weaponize the criminal justice system against Hillary Clinton, when it was perfectly clear that if he wanted to, he could have done it. And it was a much stronger case against what Hillary did than against what Trump has allegedly done.
Yeah, 33,000 emails bleached.
So you could have certainly made an investigation on that, and he did not do that, to his credit.
Or how about when Biden was the announced Democratic candidate against him for election? Here we are. It's Trump against Biden right now. Biden's Justice Department went after his chief political opponent. He just unearthed the Hunter Biden sort of investigation that was supposed to be happening. It's not happening. It may be happening when there's apparently evidence of crimes, right? There's evidence of recorded evidence. Again, I'm not there. I don't know if it's true or not, but there appears to be some substantial evidence of wrongdoing, okay, there with Hunter Biden, with Joe Biden. But, Donald Trump didn't use his Justice Department at the time to convene grand juries to do raids on anyone's house. It's unbelievable that but no one seems to be outraged by this. And again, it's not because I represent Donald Trump that I'm outraged. I'm outraged because I'm an American citizen. And I don't want this country to turn into what it looks like it's turning into, which is this morass of weaponization of the justice system. When you weaponize the justice system, it becomes a tool that is dangerous and deadly, and it changes our democracy.
Joe, John Katzman-Tedeschi, how far do you want to go? That's the name of my book, but let's see how far they're going to go with Trump. They're thinking of suing him in New Jersey, too. They're suing him in Georgia, or they're trying to indict him. In New York, Georgia, New Jersey, Florida.
There's another one in Washington, D.C.
What if all these legal cases don't happen? What are they going to do? How far would they go? Would they go to something? I don't want to mention the word.
God knows anymore, John. I never thought we'd see this day.
It happened to John Kennedy. I'm not going to mention the word, but I'll say it happened to John Kennedy.
I know, but I know the word you're talking about. It's the only word left, basically.
They don't want him elected in any way possible.
No, they don't. But what they're doing is they don't understand.
It happened to John Kennedy. It happened to Martin Luther King. It happened to Robert Kennedy. Rudy Washington, you were there.
Yes, I was from the beginning. And I hope my former boss don't throw tomatoes at me. But, the president, as far as I'm concerned, he made some bad choices because he was a neophyte.
He made mistakes, absolutely.
Yeah, because he was a neophyte.
He doesn't deserve this.
In politics. No. I'm talking about the appointments he made. I remember, calling Rudy up and saying, what is Bill Barr doing? He's working against the president. I mean, so some of these picks that he made, I was just totally disappointed, was scratching my head. Even Tillerson. I mean, the guy had his own State Department. Who was he going to represent?
He made a mistake, and the mistake was he thought that he was the president of the United States.
And everybody was going to listen to him.
And that they'll respect the presidency.
The seat of the power. Yes, they don't.
Don't give a crap.
Andy, there were so many people coming in.
And let me say this. Let me say this to the judge and you, Kat. I am totally disappointed in the Supreme Court, Justice Roberts. He sat back, allowed the FBI to go to the highest court, the FISA court, and lie. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And got warrants on the president and his people.
Yeah, the Russia hoax.
On the Russia hoax.
Unbelievable.
And they didn't step in. They allowed a 2-day impeachment trial. Who ever heard of that?
Governor Patterson, anything to say?
I don't think that President Trump, in his wildest imagination, thought that Senator Biden could beat him. And I think that's the reason that he correctly did not do these things. But I don't even think he even thought about it because he really was sure that he was going to get reelected.
Well, Joe Tacopina, you got last word.
Yeah, and also I want to ask to exactly what you're talking about here, Joe. This is smack in the election season. I mean, it is astounding to me that there is no way that we're already in the election season. I mean, how is this not election interference?
Our Manhattan trial is conveniently set smack dab in the middle of the primaries. This trial, I will 100% guarantee you, will be set before the election, because they're so confident of a conviction in this case that they think that will rule him out. Even if you want to say Donald Trump may have done something wrong here, I'm telling you he didn't, and the law is on his side because I think they're misapplying the law. That's a whole other conversation, okay? But even if you want to think, and what I mean by that, I'm going to just say something, but there is the Presidential Records Act, which is the only law that really applies to presidents and their records, is our position, okay? But putting that aside, they're charging the world. They have an Espionage Act. There's a difference here. But putting that aside, even if you believe he did something wrong, how could federal prosecutors not have convened a grand jury and obtained a search warrant for Joe Biden's property? These classified documents were scattered all over Maryland. I mean, they were at University of Pennsylvania. They were in
You mean they weren't safe near the Corvette by Hunter Biden?
Yeah, it looked like a pile of garbage. That's where I store my garbage. Is my car,
sorry,
right?
guys. We got to thank you, Joe Tacopina,
Okay, guys,
we got to go into a hard break.
Tom, Joe, thank you very, very much, Joe.